So in this video, I would like to demonstrate how you can use Workato to integrate with IFS. For my demo, I'm going to use Salesforce as my CRM application, and I would like to replicate account information whenever there's a new account created or updated in Salesforce. I would like to replicate that information into IFS customers, and to do this, I'm going to look up if the customer already exists in IFS, and if not, then I'm going to create a new customer. Otherwise, I'm going to update an existing customer. So let me go and create that recipe on the Workato platform. So by going and creating a new recipe, name that recipe sync salesforce.com account into IFS customer. Start building. And we built this manually. That's why we removed the copilot. And the starting application is obviously Salesforce. And the business trigger event I'm going to use is new updated record. Let me select my demo Salesforce connection. And the object type I would like to sync is account information. So as my Salesforce instance isn't super active, I just select to consider all accounts beginning of time as to be new or updated. So with that, I do get account information into my recipe, and the next step I'm going to do is to look up the existing customer in IFS, and for that I'm adding an action in an app, and here the application is IFS. So here I use the action to search for existing records, select my IFS connection, and the object type I'm going to look up is custom information. This list of object types is work in progress, and many object types can be easily added to the connector as the rest of the connector is fully dynamic. So custom information, now we are fetching all the properties configured in IFS for a customer. And one of the properties I have configured as a custom property in my IFS instance is the Salesforce account ID. Here we go. So this is the criteria I'm going to use to look up for an existing account. Now I can use that result set as an input for my conditional if statement, where I build up that condition. This is the output from my search operation with a potential number of records, and each record, each list in Workato has a list size. And now I can easily check if the list size is 0. And if that's the case, then I know the customer doesn't exist already in IFS. So that means I go and create a new customer in IFS, create an object. The object type is customer. And now I have to map some relevant information, like for instance, the customer name, of course. And this is what I pick from my Salesforce event, like account name. Then I have to set the creation date. Let's say this is today, this is now. The association number, maybe that's the account number. Then let's say default domain is yes. Let's say default language is English. Country is perhaps Germany. Party type is maybe a company. Customer category is end customer. So also important now to map is obviously the Salesforce account ID, which I do here. Besides all these standard fields, there is also possibility to map address information, communication methods, and so on and so forth. So with that, I'm okay with creating a new customer, and now I would like to implement the else statement that I have to update an existing customer. Instead of re-implementing this again, I go and copy the existing step over here. I'm switching the action from create object into update object. And the only thing I have to tell additionally to that action is what kind of customer ID I would like to update. And this is coming from the search records with that custom ID. So, and now my recipe is ready to be tested for the first time. So we have picked up an account in Salesforce, which is the University of Arizona. My recipe has identified that the account already exists in IFS, and that's why we are going to update the existing customer with the customer ID University of Arizona in IFS. So let me go into IFS, search for the University of Arizona, apply. We see it here. Just let me delete this customer for a moment and then repeat my job. And now it should end up that the customer is newly created based on that Salesforce instance or Salesforce account. Let me refresh the screen. Oh, hold on. Now we potentially have a different customer ID. Let me just check what the customer ID is. This one here. And now we have the University of Arizona created. So that was basically the way to synchronize, update customers or customers in IFS based on Salesforce. Now I also would like to show you that it is possible easily with Workato to sync back changes from IFS to Salesforce, and for that I'm using a trigger event, a recipe which is fired whenever there's a customer change in IFS. Then we do basically the same way the other way around, looking up the account in Salesforce and making an upsert of that account in Salesforce. So that recipe is already there. It's also already running. Let me just show you that recipe for a moment. So this is the recipe which takes care of this. New updated customer is listening for a specific webhook, which is registered in IFS as an event action. Then we go and load some details of that customer from IFS to get more information, including the Salesforce account ID. And then that Salesforce account ID, that custom property, is used to make maybe an update just of the account name, or the other fields aren't mapped. So let me go and create or change that University of Arizona. So show me the details. And now we go and say has now a new name. So save that. And now I do expect another job. At the moment we have 13 jobs. Now it can take a second, or let's say 30 seconds to get a new job. Just happened. Let me go and see. So this is now the same object ID. It is from the University of Arizona. And if I go back into my Salesforce instance and look for University of Arizona, you see it already has now a new name. And that indicates how easy it is also to sync back information from IFS into other applications, like for instance Salesforce. And with that, that was basically everything I wanted to show you for the moment. Any feedback is much appreciated. Thanks for watching.